All right, my man. State your name and let them know you on Real Talk with Nick.
All right, my name is Jared. I'm on Real Talk with Nick.
That's what's up, man. Are you a Knick fan, son?
I'm a big Knicks fan.
Yeah? Who's your favorite player on the Knicks, man?
Favorite player on the Knicks right now, R.J. Barrett.
What you like about R.J. Barrett's game?
R.J. Barrett, he's got a good mold to his game. He can do a little bit of everything. The kid can shoot. The kid can get to the basket. The kid can pass, rebound. He can do everything the Knicks need at the moment. He's a good three to base the team around.
Okay. Now, was you feeling that way about him during his draft class when everybody was screaming Zion Williams?
I mean, of course you'd want Zion. You know, he's the potentially a generational talent, and John Moran is great too.
Okay.
But we got the third pick. It's how it rolls.
So
and,
you happy with the third pick?
Hey, I mean, who went after him? Reddish went after him. DeAndre Hunter is all right. There's definitely, I mean, well, you know, Michael Porter Jr. you didn't know about. You know what I mean?
Right.
His back was hurt. So sticking with RJ, I feel like the three was the safest bet, and it has proven to be pretty great.
Okay.
At 21 years old, 20 points per game, shooting 40% from three, fantastic.
Fantastic. Now, those who was critical of R.J. Barrett's game, they will often mention something about his mid-range shot, that he needed to improve with his mid-range. Do you agree with that? And if so, do you think he improved concerning his mid-range game?
From his rookie year, where he was pretty inefficient, definitely has improved his mid-range, but it's definitely not at the level for him to solely rely on. He's not LaMarcus Aldridge out there during the twos, you know? But from where he's shooting on the court, if he gets to his spots, he's usually pretty good from the corner. He's very reliable from, or at least I'm pretty sure he's reliable at the corner, at least from what I remember.
Right.
But in driving to the basket, absolutely fantastic.
Okay, moving right along. Julius Randle. His people was, you know, I mean, with a real Julius Randle, please stand up. Because just last year,
he was incredible last year. I mean, he looked exactly what we needed, like a star you could build around. What is he, like 26, 27?
Right.
You know, he's just hitting his prime, but there were no crowds, you know? There was none of that external factors that can distract you. I mean, you can go out to the bars now, you can be doing stuff afterwards. It was in a time where all he did was could focus on his craft and be at his healthiest. And while it's an outlier, maybe he can bring it back. He was still the Knicks' best player this year.
Really? I can't even get it out. You still think that Randle was the best player this season or this past?
He was. I mean, I'll say, you know, RJ's still young. He's not as seasoned as Randle is. Randle's been pretty great for a while now.
Well, we're talking about Randle being the best player.
He's the best player in the Knicks, but like, he's not getting the Knicks to a championship, right? And us extending him, I feel, was a big mistake. I feel like we could have traded him in this year for at least some picks to a team like Portland or Detroit or.
Do you think Randle got lazy once he got the extension contract? Or do you think he can't handle the New York media?
I think it's the New York media. I really do. I think there aren't a lot of players that can really stomach it, you know? I mean, Kemba folded as soon as he got here. I mean, sure, he's, you know, injuries, he's older, he's a small point guard, but like...
I'm glad you mentioned Kemba because we are in need of a point guard, right?
Desperate.
Do you think Kemba was a bad move bringing? Do you think he was damaged goods already by the time he came to the Knicks?
No.
Or do you think it's the coach who's not giving him the proper minutes?
Tibbs is a defense-first coach. Kemba's all offense. Kemba's always been all offense. Kemba's never been known, ever since Connecticut with Cardiac Kemba, he's never been known as this defense-first guy. And sure, Elfrid Payton was not. It's hard to say Elfrid Payton was better, but he definitely fit into Tibbs' coaching style more so than Kemba could have.
Okay.
And what Kemba gave us, sure, there were a couple 30-point games. There were a couple of really nice games from Kemba last year.
Absolutely.
But he wasn't playing winning basketball.
Do you think it's because he was too hyped and overzealous of being from New York and then playing for New York?
Sure. I mean, I feel it's every New Yorker that grew up in the, or at least growing up in the tri-state, you know, unless you're Kyrie fucking Irving,
right? Yeah,
wants to play for the Knicks. It was the marquee team ever since anybody was a kid, and for Kemba to come here and fulfill that, it's incredible.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
All right, I see you know your basketball,
There's not
man.
a lot of New York guys. There's Lance Stevenson,
right?
Kemba Walker. Melo was born in Brooklyn.
right?
Donovan Mitchell.
Speaking of Donovan Mitchell, you just
we need
opened up.
We need a
Do you think
combo
he's?
guard.
Do you think he's feasible to come to New York, man? Do you think it's the right move to bring Donovan Mitchell, who right now is hanging around Emmanuel quickly this offseason?
Yeah,
Them two is
they're mad tight.
yeah.
They're
So
really tight.
my question to you would be: do you think we need to give the point guard vacancy to Emmanuel quickly, who shows splashes
Yes.
of being a point guard? Or let's
Develop
start with
our young
Emmanuel
guys.
quickly.
Start him now.
Emmanuel quickly.
If there are plenty of guards who came into the league at a position and then slowly learned to be the position. Russell Westbrook played the 2 in college, and then learned how to fucking do a triple double every night. Of course, Emmanuel quickly does not have anywhere near the athleticism of Russell Westbrook, but to say he can't develop a passing vision more so than he has, and he got a triple double at the end of the season.
Right.
He has those flashes.
Do you think his splashes that he displayed, where he's elevating his game, who deserved that credit? You think Derrick Rose mentoring Emmanuel quickly while playing in the backcourt helped him a lot?
Yeah, veteran talent is pivotal to youth success. Look at Jordan Poole this season. He's literally Steph Curry, he's literally playing like a young Steph Curry, and that doesn't happen if he's on any other team.
Okay.
You think Anthony Simons on the Trailblazers is able to be a starting 2 guard, if not for CJ and Dame helping him with his shot?
Right.
You need these young players to be molded by strong veteran leadership, and having a former MVP on your team, even if he's past his prime, it's Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose,
Come on, man.
Now, if Derrick Rose wasn't injured, do you think the Knicks would have went further?
If Derrick Rose is healthy, yeah, we could have.
How far you think?
Further. I mean, I don't have confidence in us getting past the first round with this current squad. No. If we're losing to the Hawks and the Hawks are getting out also in the first round,
Yeah. Now, I want to bring a flashback, man. When the Knicks did go to the postseason, man, we played against the Atlanta Hawks. We was busting the Atlanta Hawks' ass all year. And then we came to the postseason. They scraped us. We only won one game. Who get the blame for the Knicks getting bounced out the postseason like that, man?
Randle. Easily.
Oh, man.
Randle folded. His shot, he was extremely inefficient. He didn't know how to pass out of the double and triple team even. When you did get the passes off, you have guys like Reggie Bullock who wasn't hitting his shots. And Reggie Bullock, you see a similar thing with Dallas this year.
Right.
It's Frank. Who's he going to pass out to? Frank Ntilikina.
Was you a fan of Frank Ntilikina, who, by the way, had a defensive game, and now we got a defensive coach?
He was great on. I thought he played really well in the minutes he got on the Mavericks. I thought he really had great defensive capability there. I've always been a Frank fan since he got drafted. Ever since he had that little scrap with LeBron, of course, how could you not?
Right.
Do
you think the Knicks made a great mistake letting him go?
Nah. It was 4 years. You have 4 years to make something, and you're averaging 4, 2 and 2 in 9 minutes a game.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, man. Okay, Frank Ntilikina was coached under 3 different.
Yes.
So do you think
who weren't giving him coaches that were given Kadeem Allen and Alonzo Trier, the guys who I remember Mario Hezonja getting a started point guard over Frank one night.
Hey, that was absurd with you.
Absurd.
So
it's Frank never really had the support around him to succeed.
Yeah, and would you say that's the same for Kevin Knox?
Yes. Kevin Knox was always a project piece. Big guy in college, has all that athleticism and that strong coaching at Kentucky, where you're like, all right, this kid could be something in the NBA. But Fizdale to what was his name? Mike
D, Mike Tony.
No. The guy after.
You have Fizdale, Jeff Hornacek.
The guy after,
and Mike D. Well, we know we talk, but yeah.
With the coaching changes from the Knicks, there was no emphasis on player development, especially with that front office. I mean, the old Scott Perry and Steve Mills, terrible.
Why you say that?
They had no intention on developing young talent. Under them, there wasn't I don't think any rookie with the Knicks got their contract extension. Not Porzingis, not even Tim Hardaway Jr. He went to the Hawks. We traded him to the Hawks, and then we bought him back in free agency. You know, it's you know, we didn't keep our guys, but also we drafted poorly.
Right.
So it's a combination of a lot of things. But that leadership in the past was bad. I like Leon Rose. I think he's made some great moves so far.
You think so?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the owner? When we speak of James Dolan, man, do you feel like he's
fuck every NBA owner? All right, I'm sorry.
Nah, this is street. This is real talk, man.
But fuck every NBA owner, man. Fuck them all.
Yeah.
But him especially, Dolan. he's lucky the Rangers are good. All right, that's the only thing keeping him in that seat.
Yeah.
That's the only him keeping all the investors, I feel, from falling out.
Okay. And I want to put the nail in the coffin. We're almost there. My boy Mitchell Robinson, man. He got an extension contract. He's an unrestricted free agent this offseason.
Right.
Should we keep him? What should we do with Mitch, man?
So,
I mean, he has grown for not being thrown out the game when we speak of silly fouls and whatnot. But do you see the growth?
Sure. I mean, if you're 7 feet tall with a huge wingspan, close to 8 feet, you're going to foul out again. You're big. You're a big guy. The refs see you more. I mean, every player with his built-in archetype has always a proclivity to foul out. So all it takes is mentorship and coaching to really drive them out of it. And Mitchell Robinson suffered from the same thing as Frank Ntilikina and Kevin Knox. Same draft class as Kevin Knox. It's the lack of development around him. You see Robert Williams, who's a little smaller than Mitchell Robinson, but that same archetype, rim running center who blocks shots, gets rebounds. Mitchell Robinson's great on the board. Mitchell Robinson he was the most efficient player in his second year. He shot 71% from the field.
Right.
I think he has the league record for field goal percentage in the season.
Mitchell Robinson. Okay.
Sure, I think he barely qualified in terms of field goals made, but still, it's an incredible feat. He has so much potential, and for the Knicks not to keep him and try to develop that, I think is a mistake, but it all depends on...
Well, they're looking to give him $55 million over 4 years. Think he's being underpaid?
Why not? The salary caps are going up. You know, that contract is going to be worth less as the years go on. And for $55 million for 4 years, what's that? That's a little over $10 million a year.
Yeah.
Why not? As long as it's not $30 million, he's not going to max. You know.
Okay.
And centers, while they're cheap, we could get Bismack Biyombo next year. We could get JaVale McGee next year. There's a ton of 7-foot guys who can play.
Okay. 2 more questions. We out of here.
Sure.
R.J. Barrett. Are you a fan of R.J. Barrett's game, man? I think we mentioned that earlier.
I'm a big fan of R.J. Barrett.
You're a big fan of R.J., right?
Big fan of R.J.
Big fan of R.J. So excuse me, viewers, I mentioned that already. My boy Obi, that's where I wanted to go with. Obi, yeah.
That's another beautiful example. How did I forget Obi?
Yeah, that's what I meant to
basketball.
say. Yeah.
Come on.
Obi, man. And do you think Obi will walk away for the Knicks due to the re-signing of Julius Randle? They both play the same position. Do you think it's going to be a conflict of interest when we speak of his minutes that he's going to be receiving under Tom Thibodeau?
I feel like under Thibodeau it's going to be tough. We have Obi under lock for another 2 years, I think, for his rookie contract.
Right.
We have the opportunity to offer a rookie extension. Most guys want to take that rookie extension, especially if he's playing good. But he's 24 years old.
Right.
You know, that's old for a guy in his second year in the league. So I don't necessarily know what they're going to be doing with him, but I love him, man. And I feel if we can give him the reins now, he can really turn it up this year. So if we trade Randle away to another team...
You wouldn't be upset?
I wouldn't be upset. We're not winning a championship with this guy.
You don't see it happening at all?
Blow it up. That's my thing, man. I like watching the Knicks win, sure. But when we were losing with Randle and he's feeling like shitty and pouting and you know, he's visibly upset towards the end of games, and you can see it in his body language that he's not trying. That's not fun to watch.
Right.
You know, that's upsetting. Give me a team of scrappy, I would love the Rockets right now. A team with all these young kids playing every single game, just having a blast, doing crazy things. I love that.
Okay.
In basketball, and give us the chance to really see who can be a star and who isn't going to be.
Okay, and this is it. The last question, man. My man, Tom Thibodeau, is he's the coach for the Knicks, man. Where we speak of the youth. Is he too stubborn in his ways to switch up rotation when it's needed? What are we going to do with Mr. Tom Thibodeau, man?
Yeah, I don't know about Thibodeau. He's a good coach. He can get a lot about players that fit his archetype and want to run around the court 44 minutes a game. But
do you think he's gonna break his players down?
yeah, he always breaks his players down. I mean, look at Minnesota. You
Yeah.
know, all those players, all three of those players are now thriving outside of Thibodeau's coaching. But I mean, he's the reason for the Bucks' early success. He got Derrick Rose. I mean, Derrick Rose was already an amazing talent, but under Thibodeau, he became an MVP.
Jimmy Butler,
Butler, Joakim Noah. I mean, I don't think Tyson. I don't know. Was he there for Tyson Chandler? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Bulls, but
you think he's
not a bad coach? You know, he's a good coach as far as basketball goes, but you need a team fit around him.
Fit around him. All right, my man, that's what it is, man. I want to thank my guests for coming on Real Talk with Nick, expressing the chronicles when we speak of Knick basketball. You look like a fan. I walked up on him. I asked him, do you know Knick basketball? What do y'all think, man? Hit me up in the comments, man, and we out. Peace.